First off, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I have a few questions if you've been watching my videos. If you ever get an ad at the beginning of the video or some ad that interrupts the video, I will never put anything like that on there because I hate it myself. Should I at any point get enough subscribers to be able to monetize my videos, I might add the little things that end up on top of the video at the bottom, but I will never have anything that interrupts any videos by choice. This channel is not made to try and make money. I doubt I ever will, even if it would be good with extra money. I think most of us want that. Just so you know, and if anyone has any questions about any of the videos, do not hesitate to comment. I will try to answer if I can, and I will follow up with a few other small things I have done with the machines in this video also, but it was mainly a Christmas greeting to everyone out there. We have a bit of snow in the north part of Sweden. I think it's minus 10 degrees, a little bit of wind, quite cold outside actually, but still not a lot of snow. That's good, because hopefully I can start logging now after New Year's. The plan is to pretty much start full time and try to put some hours on the machines if they don't break on me. I hope not. Take care.
Here is some quite old video footage. We had issues with one of the sun visors you can close. They're not really used, they're kind of scratched up, so can't really use them while operating the machine, but they're nice to be able to open and close for the summer if it ends up, or even the spring if it ends up sitting in direct sunlight. And I can't really fully remember everything about this because we had issues, it wouldn't retract fully, and there is kind of a rod in the middle, and then there's a spring around that, and kind of on one side it's held in place and the middle rod twists the other side, and we tried tensioning the spring, and I've had it apart before also. I'm not sure I did any previous video about it and didn't go this deep then, and I just started tensioning. I thought we would get the entire spring out, but that turned out harder than expected. So we gave up on that and tried to put things back together and kind of tension the spring again and see what happened. And here I'm just off screen trying to tension things up, turning that innermost pin around, and then trying to fit the caps at the ends are a little tricky because there is a slot. Still wouldn't function super well, so we tried lubing the side that is supposed to spin a little, and it's not perfect still, but it's also an old machine, but maybe it's good enough to be used, just need a little nudging. We also removed some fraying on the edges. Then it's the computer issue again, because it started flickering more and more, and I thought I would replace the other two components the same as the first I found burnt out, but it was under this condensator, and quite hard to get access to, and eventually I was able to get the old components out and in with a couple of new ones, but I'm afraid I damaged something here, or it wasn't a proper solder joint, because it ended up being worse, the problem, when I got it back together. Here I'm trying to fit the new components. It's a little tricky because they have to go almost under the electrical connector for the computer, and once in place they were soldered. I'm most worried I've damaged something on the motherboard. I might look at this in the future, see if it's possible to salvage it, maybe bring the other computer in to have something to compare it with. It had lost a little coolant, the forwarder. I also found a hose next to the diesel, the heater, that showed signs of leaking, so that was tightened up and refilled some coolant. Then it's winter again, so tracks are going back on. And here comes the computer issues, that because now it shut off after a little while. It does restart, but then it starts flickering like mad almost directly, and I kind of gave up on this computer then and decided to sort out the laptop. Tracks went on with the normal issues. We just used that tool I've shown in previous videos. Takes a lot more work. My dad's car needed some work. We used the tractor to lift that up because the exhaust was coming out. It had also snowed quite a bit, so needed to de-snow the machine to start looking at fitting a laptop to it instead of the original computer. Quite cold inside the machine, but my dad had a guy bend a little aluminum plate, and we mounted that to the original mounting points, and I bought an inverter. For now it will just be mounted here. If this becomes a permanent solution, it might be hidden a bit more. It does squeak a little when it has power, but you don't have it on, so that annoys me a little bit. The timber tails got a little bit of a cleanup because some measuring will be done in the beginning. And then there was a wheel bearing. The drive shaft needed a little help coming out. And it's gummed up, old car, many miles, causing issues. Inner part of the hub assembly came out, not too much hammering. But then the outer part, getting the bearing out, we added plenty of heat. The lock ring was first the issue. With lock ring removed, we tried cutting a few small slots and tried to give it some good heat, and then see if the bearing race would come out. Heads up, it did not. Next up, a big nut was welded inside there, and we brought in the big sledgehammer and realized the workbench was way too soft for this, so we took it out to the anvil to get the old bearing race out, and then we ran into the issues because I don't have a press. So my dad took it to a friend of his that has a press to install the bearings, and so that wasn't the issue. Then we could try out a special thing my dad had built, kind of a cradle that sits on top of the lift boom for the tractor to help move. Well, it's not really. It's harder to use than just dangling some chains there, so it's not gonna be used a lot. But getting them into the log building, the garage wood storage that was built, that we overhauled, if you have followed my videos, the door is too small to fit, go all the way in directly. Previously we had put them down on pallets outside of it, and then had to change to the forks to lift it in. With this special solution, we can get it all the way in and on a pallet directly, and since we had the cement floor in here, it can be used a pallet dolly to move them around inside. I really like this building, turned out great. You can see the fresh logs. Here is the north wall where we had to replace the most pieces. They were in the worst condition, and well, that's it. Mainly a Merry Christmas greeting. Hope everyone has a great Christmas and a Happy New Year.